Hexagon coasters. What's going on with everybody? It's been a little bit. I suppose everybody's been as busy as I have with the holidays. The holidays have been busy with them. Almost through it, guys. Almost over. And then we can go back to our hidey holes and do our own thing again. How's everybody doing out there? Good, bad, indifferent? Here's to you. With the showing your Hexagon coasters, huh? I spare no expense for this show. I went all out for those coasters. So if I move this camera over here while I look at it, I'm trying to figure out why I look everywhere but the camera. Not that it really matters, I guess. So again, this is one of those shows where I really got nothing major to go into other than just checking in. Like I said, been a minute. Went to St. Louis for a visit, and I'm back. Off work here for a little bit. Got to make it through New Year's tomorrow. No plans yet. So what does that mean? Tonight, tomorrow, and tomorrow night, and then we're done with 2020, right? So what I'm here to celebrate is a leaky bathtub. Yeah, a leaky bathtub. That's what I'm here to celebrate because I've come to appreciate this leak. There are a lot of things that can go wrong in one's life. And when you've had a number of issues and you have family that have dealt with issues and friends that have dealt with issues, to just have a leaky faucet is something to embrace and be proud of, because things could be worse. So I'm embracing the leaky faucet. That's all I have wrong with my life right now. I'm blessed. There are a number of things I would change. I'm not rich by any means. All I have is a leaky faucet. Life is good. What else? A couple of videos I just put up last night. I put up, ran through Napoleon. And, I don't know what my deal is, but it's usually just an intro, beginning run-through type deal. One of these days, I need to buckle down and find a game, maybe like a campaign, something like that, and just run through it, beginning to finish, and see how it goes. I'm assuming everybody can hear me because I can see these little green dots fluctuate as I speak. Otherwise, you're just watching my tongue wag and my lips flap and not hearing anything, which would be somebody's cue to chime in and say hello. That's just a proper thing to do. Nathan, Wise Guy History, how you doing, brother? Always a pleasure. For those of you that are watching and will watch later, please check out Nathan, Wise Guy History's channel, because good things are happening on there. And he's one of the savvy war game veterans in the 9 a.m. here. I have a coffee instead of beer. Well, kind of, Guinness is kind of like coffee. But I guess you could argue there's, no caffeine in it. Why don't they have caffeinated beer? Why is that not a thing yet? Do I have to come up with that and make money off of that? Am I missing something? Is there caffeinated beer? 9 a.m. where? You're either Australia or England, right? Britain? What's the preferred nomenclature, England or Britain? Just by way of show and tell, Compass Games, you may or may not be aware of this, they still do paper catalogs, which is cool. Not everybody does. In fact, I don't know of anybody that does, to be honest with you. But you get these in the mail. Just send for one, or if you order something and get on their mailing list, maybe you'll get one. Actually, I think Decision Games has dispatches, which they send out quarterly or something like that, which is a physical paper format. These are great because you can sit in the bathroom or sit in the bathtub and flip through and fantasize about all the Compass games that you want. Or you can use this as wallpaper and frame it. Surprise the wife when she comes home from work and maybe frame this and hang it in the bedroom. I'm sure she'd get a kick out of that. But, wow, okay. I'd be honest with you, I haven't even looked through this yet. I guess you can order from here, too, old school style. It's a shame you can't still get games COD. A couple of things I'll point out, and then I'll move on from this. And I have nothing. Viper Dave, how you doing, brother? Welcome aboard. I really have nothing, as usual. When I see it, I'll let you know. Combat reprint. I didn't get Combat, but I liked what I saw of it. That's the first page. My bone that I have to pick with Compass Games is most of their stuff is strategic. Very, very little tactical. I don't know why that is. Australia. Do I ask you this every time, Nathan? I apologize. Where are you from? And you tell me, and I never remember. So Enemy Action Kharkov. As far as Compass Games goes and things to look out for, Enemy Action Kharkov is what you want to mark on your calendar. This says mid-2021, assuming the world doesn't completely cave in on itself. It is almost succeeded in doing so. And I have, where the hell is it? Oh, here it is. That is the sequel to, once you learn the system, you're in, right? It's the sequel to Enemy Action Ardennes. Wait, another Bulge game? Yeah, it's never going to end. There will always be another Bulge game. So keep your eyes out for that. What else here? I wonder if they have games on here that don't have the box art yet. Looks like they do. Because there's one other thing, the name escapes me. That is Tank Leader, right? Compass Games is redoing Tank Leader Eastern Front, and that is a redo of Tank Leader Eastern Front. More specifically, this guy. So it's kind of dated, but the system is interesting. That runs the game. Of course, you have Tank Leader Western Front. But still no box art on that. It says early 2021, Tank Leader Eastern Front, so keep your eye out for that as well. And I think that's the only, there's a lot of stuff coming out, but I've gotten a bit more discriminating in my taste. And if it just feels like more of the same, just cardboard pushing across the map, no real character or idiosyncrasy or style to the thing, I'm losing interest, or I'm saving my money. So I don't know. John Longshore, Snake Eyes, what's up, buddy? War for America in 2040 and American Insurgency are my two hits off that catalog. But Compass Games does good stuff. I'm a John Krantz fan. That guy's done great things for the hobby, and there's my John Krantz plug. What games did I get for Christmas? Ooh, I got nothing for Christmas game-wise, unless I'm missing. No, I got nothing. I didn't spend a single dime on game stuff for Christmas. I've got enough games as it is, specifically games that I haven't played, so I can't justify, unless it's something I can't live without, more stuff that I'm not going to play. Right now I've got what has essentially become wallpaper, and it's expensive wallpaper. But my New Year's resolution for 2021 is not to have a New Year's resolution. No, my New Year's resolution is start playing some of these damn things instead of just letting them collect dust. So there's that. Tom D, how you doing, brother? John got books, no game. So another no game Christmas. We made it easy on Santa this year, I guess, lugging those things around. It's not to say I've been idle by any means. I finally finished up the Prussians over there on the game table, and what did that entail? More of the same. Spray painting them gray, rebasing them, and I'm done. That's it. It took forever to do that because I was really running out of steam with this whole next nationality Napoleonic basing thing. I did the French, I did the Austrians, I did the Portuguese, the British, the Russians, and when it came to the Prussians, I just really drug my feet, man. But I finished it, and that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing any more of that stuff other than playing it. So, tell you what. What else we got? What did I get for Christmas? Well, it may not be game related, but I got these wireless Bose speakers. They weren't cheap, but my God, the sound is great on those. And the flight home from St. Louis was a memorable flight this time. Instead of just listening to the baby crying on your right or the old lady that has fallen asleep on your left and is struggling to breathe. And you want to be nice. You don't want to be rude and then like intervene or interrupt any of these people. But Dec B or Decibel B, Dec B. I got to have my oil change, man. I got to have it. So, the flight home is great with these headphones, and I highly recommend them. These are not the Bose. I'll shut up about the Bose in a second, but these are not the Bose top-of-the-line headphones. You don't want to get those. These are the second to the best. The newer ones, the top-of-the-line ones, they've got problems after problems after problems. I read about it, and thank God I didn't get those. There's all kinds of hoops you got to jump through just to be able to listen to them, and apps you have to sign up for, and things you got to enroll in, and there's a drug test involved. It's a real mess. Oh, wow. So Phalanx, Tom says, he got a few games, and he says Phalanx's reprint of Fire in the Sky is something he picked up. I guess I slept on that. Fire in the Sky, something that MMP originally did, went out of print, and of course, you pay a pretty penny for it now. That is until this new release, which I should hop on board and go ahead and pick up, because it's going to go out of print again, and then I'm going to be stuck. So it's an interesting game. And it's funny you should mention Pacific Theater stuff, which is what that deals with. I sat down and read Victory in the Pacific, the rules to that, and I think I'm going to get that on the table and do some filming of it. It is a game that is won the Charles S. Roberts Award in, I think, 1977, which is also the year. Is that the year Squad Leader came out? I think it is. Anyway, what a hell of a year. A number of other games as well. But it seems like a game I can hop right into. You don't have to invest 15 years of your life learning it, another 15 years of your life playing a single scenario or campaign. Again, easily picked up, easily played, and it's kind of in my wheelhouse these days. If I don't already know the system, it's going to take a lot for me to learn an entire new thing. I think the last new system I attempted to learn didn't get it down 100%, but enough to get a feel for the game was the Grand Tactical Series that Adam Starkweather started. Not all of the games in the system are his, but he's the one that started it. Let's see. Nathan says, and you guys, I know you can read this, but I'm narrating it anyway. He got a few Euro games. Let's see. Barrage. About building hydro plants, Marco Polo 2, and the Branch and Claw expansion for Spirit Island. I know nothing about those games, sir. My wife wanted a pirate game, so I stole her checkbook. Now, wait a second. Is that a joke? Or did you just. I'm slow. Is that the game? You stole her checkbook, or you stole her checkbook to make her pay for it? Yeah, that's funny. What else do I got? What else do I got? I just ran through a little bit of some. What you're looking at here is Conflict of Heroes, Storms of Steel, the newest edition. I've always been kind of fond of the system, and I've gone on record as saying, it is the system that drives the game mechanics that really draw me in. If there's a good system, I'm willing to overlook a lot of other things. The map board, the counters, what have you. But again, Conflict of Heroes, and I mentioned in the video that I don't want to say they started it because obviously they didn't. But anyway, they popularized the whole war game as Euro game type thing. I won't go so far as to call it a Euro game, but it definitely has a kind of resource management thing going on with the game, with your action points, command action points. And I tip my invisible hat to Uwe for going ahead and going out on a limb, not knowing that the community would embrace something like this, but doing something different. And it was successful, I think, partially because it was different. But it's a good system. It's a solid system. And I can't think of anything out there that is similar to this, especially with the updated, newest edition. With you still deal with a cost to conduct an action. So you have a certain cost to move, a certain cost to fire, a certain cost to rally, etc. Based on that cost, you will roll a red die, weighted red die. This is not your normal 10-sided die. To determine if you are spent after conducting an action. And then in addition, for some more flavor, for a unit that does conduct an action and is not spent, you mark it with one of these, which is impossible to pick up. But you mark it with one of these, which is a tile grout, really essentially tile grout thing, but it's a spent marker. So if you want to activate that unit again successively, you pay a penalty to try and when you roll your spent check on the following activation, if that makes sense. Anyway, it's good stuff. I'm trying to revisit some things that I've forgotten about or gotten away from me. This Napoleon game that I showed you earlier, there was a time a few years back, actually probably about a decade back, when I found all the components online for that thing, and I printed it off and put it all together and sat down and played that and just got hooked right away. It was addicted to the damn thing, couldn't stop playing it. And I fell short every time as the French of victory, but I kept trying and kept trying. I thought, man, there's got to be a way to do this. I don't think I ever won with the French, but it was a really addicting, fun game to play. Specifically with the, you have the best of both worlds, right? You have the strategic overview with the map board, but then when it comes to fighting, you get to benefit from that tactical feel with your battle board and that stuff. And so it's like two games in one almost, and it's pretty successful in what it does. And I think it sparked a number of imitations. I think Field Commander Napoleon does something similar, and there may be a couple other things as well. But I had a lot of fun with that. Busted that out, what was that, last night, I think, and messed with that a little bit. I think there's 4 editions of the thing. And I have the most recent edition, but as you may or may not have seen in the video, I had to go ahead and print off the 3rd edition rules and the 3rd edition counter stickers because the 4th edition stickers suck. The 4th edition has less blocks. It's a block game. And the 3rd edition costs more. So for whatever reason, I have the 4th edition. I don't have the edition I played years ago that I printed up, but it's a fun game, and I recommend that. All right, guys, see you later. No. So what else is going on with everybody? Anything? Everything? What you guys been up to? Tell me a story. What's a game I should be embarrassed for not playing? And trust me, there's a lot. There's a lot that I haven't. What's the next thing that you would recommend I need to play? That I should have on my radar, on my list? I probably have it, and I just don't realize what a hidden gem it is. Did my 11-mile bike ride today. I'm very proud with having stuck with that. I started that with when the whole COVID thing started. I was bored out of my mind, and it was right when nobody knew what to do except tell everybody to stay home, and the work was shut down, and everything was shut down. And I was kind of having cabin fever, so I went out and fixed up the bike and took it out, and man, I've been going ever since. A lot of fun. So Tom says, I'm trying to play games that I got sitting around as everyone has. Yeah, it's a task almost, isn't it? Why is it a task? I don't know, but it seems like a chore almost. We got all these games, or most of us, and we just keep getting more without playing the ones we have. It's a real, it's a neurosis. Arden 44. Speaking of Arden 44, Simonich, Mark, I think it's his birthday today. Either today or yesterday. Just a little side note there. When you're friends with folks on Facebook, you get all these birthday updates. And I think what I'm going to start doing is the first of the month, every month, if it's your birthday, say, okay, everybody in January, right? Happy birthday, I'm done. Because it's like every day, you've got 15 people you got to wish happy birthday, right? I guess it's a small thing to ask, but it's cumulative. You do this every day, and it's like, just stop having birthdays. How about that? Let's just stop having birthdays for a while and give everybody a break. Admiral's War doesn't get a lot of love. Should check that out. Okay, well, it doesn't get a lot of love, and I don't even know what the hell that is. Did you already tell me this? Why does this sound familiar now all of a sudden? I think this was already mentioned to me. Yeah, I think, I don't know if it was you. You know what it looks like, though? It looks like a highfalutin version of Victory in the Pacific, I'll be honest with you, with the way the map is and everything. You go to Board Game Geek and check that out. Yeah, I think that was mentioned earlier. It may not have been you, Nathan, or I'm sorry, Tom. If it wasn't, it was somebody. Somebody did mention that. Shadow Empire on PC, and it is just too engrossing. Need to give it up and play something I hate. No, why would you do that? Play something you're getting something out of. Like this crap over here that I keep, you've noticed from the videos, it's like the same thing over and over. It's fun. Once you find something fun, why, no guilt, man. Just enjoy it. Maybe it's not something people want to see, but unless you're charging them money to watch your channel, then who cares what you're showing on your channel? It's free. They can go to another channel and watch something, right? Not to be rude or mean, but I mean, honestly, it's your channel. So play what you want. Speaking of PC, didn't a new PS5 just come out and a new Xbox? Jesus. John, that's be nice. Don't rub that in. 3,000 painted Napoleonics. You did this to me last time. I have 3,000 gray Napoleonics. There they are. The gray mob. Yeah, so PS5 and a new Xbox, right? I mean, how and I probably have already talked about this, but Jesus Christ, how can you get people to buy year after year the next console? How much better can these get? It's like, you can only see so good, so you can't tell me it's like better graphics or a better graphics card. I think we've peaked there. I don't know. Until they come out with a hologram, something or other, I'm not buying the next whatever. FIFA. What the football soccer game FIFA stuff? I've got NHL 19, I think, still in the plastic. I bought an Xbox because not the newest one, but I bought an Xbox to watch movies on because I'm working at the library. I've got access to thousands of DVDs and Blu-rays that I don't have to pay for, and I could bring like 10 of them home a night. But I had no way to watch them, so I got an Xbox. And when I was buying it, I picked up NHL. I'm a hockey guy, for those that don't know. I've always been, always will be. That's it. Nothing else is took with me. But the hockey, it's all about the hockey. Still in the plastic, haven't played it. That's how much I'm into PC games. I've got a few I've tried on the PC here. I tried Conflict of Heroes Digital on here, and I didn't like it. I finally bought Napoleon Total War, which I've been drooling over for years. I can't even get past the tutorial. I suck that bad. It's ridiculous. And then Lock and Load Heroes of Normandy, Lock and Load tactical digital thing. That's fun. I played that with my brother. You can play online with each other. Got a kick out of that. So look that up. That was fun to play. Wife is Switch. Now here's the only reason I know what a Switch is because while I was home in St. Louis, my brother's the tech guy. He's the one that has to get the latest, greatest, whatever it is, phone, TV, console. And my nephew decides he wants to get a new TV, and my brother, of course, there's a certain way of going about this. You got to get this kind of TV. And when you get it home, you got to do this first, and you got to set this up first next. And there's a certain way you peel the plastic off of it and all this stuff. It's pretty elaborate. But my nephew has a Switch and a PS4, I guess, and he's got all that stuff. And he's got the new Cyberpunk, whatever the hell game that he just bought and downloaded, and he's engrossed in that. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good question. Dak, I've had trouble with your name. Dak B. December B? Decibel B. Any war game highlights for 2020? Jesus. It should be an easy question, but does anything stand out for me? I guess no, or I would have already had something for you here. But as I look around, was there anything in 2020? Now, I did get some things, but I have yet to. Case in point, I've got this sitting here. I haven't done crap with it. Things like that, right? I don't know if anything stands out, though. 2020 wise. This isn't a 2020 thing, but I have to say this game here is solid. It is your basic, and I just moaned about this, but it's your basic hex and counter game. Nothing fancy. But I guess it's the situation and the way the game starts. It's a pretty good nail biter of a thing. And Victory Lost MMP. Check that out if you haven't. Eastern Front, of course. I liked it so much, I bought Victory Denied and even Red Star Rising, which I haven't done anything with. But I really liked Victory Lost. I was impressed with that. Not a 2020 thing, but that was impressive to me. Yeah, I've got nothing, guys. Put me on the spotlight here. I guess I put myself on the spotlight. Couple of things I had on the table with good intentions and nothing ever happened. One being MBT, Main Battle Tank. It's a game that you don't have to learn a lot to play it, but you don't get the full benefit of playing it unless you learn everything there is, because that's where the real juicy flavor comes in. So my intention was to dive in, and I only did like the intro stuff, just the basic stuff to learn and play. But again, I didn't get the full experience So that was kind of a miss. So I guess you could add in addition, any war game highlights, any war game bombs for 2020. A victory denied did work for us. Didn't work for us. That's funny you should mention that. What I did read of a victory denied is that it wasn't as good. I don't recall why. I'd love to find a local club I can enjoy, the one that plays what I like, spends all their time talking politics. It's got to be a place like that, man. Or start your own, man. If that's what just have people over to your house. That's got the games you like. It's your house. You can say what you want. Just start inviting people over to your house, and there's your dream come true. Spends all their time talking politics. Wow, man. You want to knock down a drag out of an evening, don't you, Mr. John Longshore? Intentions, as I've already stated, intentions. I have intentions, but the road to hell, right? I really want to get heavily into this and just lose myself. I want to bite the bullet, learn it, do everything, do the entire campaign, and just lose myself in the game. Will I? It remains to be seen. But I keep looking at that thing and it keeps calling me. But again, that's one of those life and investments that's it's like bacon. When you put bacon in something, it obscures all other flavors. It's the loudest guy in the room. This game is like bacon. It's going to make everything else not taste like anything, and I'm not sure I want to do that yet. Wow, what a horrible analogy. I'm going to grab one more of these, and I'll be back. So. How about, it doesn't have to be war game bombs. We can do gripes and complaints. It's not very nice, I guess. As long as we're not doing gripes or complaints about specific folks. Why do I bring that up? I bring that up because it seems like within society or our culture or whatever you want to call it, we have a fascination with competition and awards. Argue amongst yourselves whether that's healthy or a benefit or not, but without fail, there continues to be, and again, I'm probably going to step on a lot of toes with this. Why do we need awards for games and for take it a step further for channels, for board game YouTube channels? It's like there's always somebody that wants to do like submit your vote for the best war game channel. Submit your vote for the. My ex used to be in the film industry, and they would do like various film. What do you call it? Film festivals, I guess, for lack of a better term. And you go to these things, and they give you a ballot, and they're like, "Here's your ballot to vote for the best film." And it's like, I never took it. I always told them, like, I don't think this should be a competition. I mean, how are you going to say this one's better than that one? They're all different in their own way. And it's like, I don't know. It's probably just a me thing. Because and saying this is better than that, what are you saying about that? You know what I mean? It's like you're inadvertently saying something. I mean, why can't we just like enjoy what we have and leave it at that? Everything has to be ranked and rated, and I understand it has a somewhat of a benefit because, say Board Game Geek, for instance, right? You have your rankings for all the games on there, but even that I think is flawed, is it not? Because you have votes that you can get for games and all these things. But let's look at it like this: if a game's been on Board Game Geek for 15 years, you compare that to a game that's been on there 6 months. What are the chances of the one that's been on there for 15 years probably being better than the one that's been on there for a less of an amount of time? I don't know. I suppose it's easy to rant and complain about stuff, which I shouldn't do. What else do we got? Anything? Hockey season's going to start soon. And the thing with that is, hockey's a war game. Yeah, it's a war game. Anyway, the thing with that is we should have not done the recent season, and we would have started on time this season. As it is, I think mid-January we start getting some hockey, and it's a truncated season, but it's still hockey. So I don't think my St. Louis Blues, are going to do anything this year. They won the Cup a couple of years back, and I don't think we're at that form now. I say Colorado Avalanche, or Dallas Stars. I hate the Dallas Stars, but I do love the Colorado Avalanche. Not as much as the Blues, but close. The Avs are a hell of a team to watch. Super fun to watch. Let's see if I got anything else to share with you guys. I suppose any questions I can field day conflict. How you doing, buddy? I tend to do the same thing with everything. I look for reviewers who rank things similar to me and then see what they cover that I don't have. So I suppose ranking things, again, it has its purposes, it has its function, but I maybe to be more specific, I think it's somewhat flawed in how it's done. New Orleans I was hoping New Orleans wasn't getting a hockey team. I don't know if that's a typo. I was hoping New Orleans wasn't getting a hockey team. We used to have a hockey team. It wasn't an NHL team, but this was they disbanded about a year or two before I moved here. Go figure, because I would have gone to those games, and nothing since. And if you mention hockey down here, you get looked at funny, and they throw beer bottles at you. It's all about the Saints, New Orleans Saints, and the Pelicans. And I can't stand basketball. Football, I can take it or leave it. Basketball is just back and forth. Score. Where's the when you score so frequently, it's like I don't get it. And then like with hockey, you score infrequently, right? So when you do score, it's a big deal. I don't know. San Jose Sharks, I have to say how good it felt to beat you guys 2 years ago in the playoffs, man. It felt so good. And I will go so far as to say we dismantled you guys, we being the Blues. But no offense, but I did enjoy that. I like the Sharks. War is your sport of choice. War is in fact a sport. You could argue that of kinds. So when I got back from St. Louis, I had to, I guess I didn't have to, but please no political comments on this. Just let me tell the story. I went and got tested for COVID because I've been around a bevy of folks and just want to make sure I'm not giving the gift that keeps on giving. So I go and there's this drive-through thing, right? So any minute we're going to get a chat here that says, COVID's not real. Anyway, I go through this drive-through, and he's got to be like 18 years old, and this whole setup is done by I assume it said Army, and they're in their fatigues, their BDUs, and hey Douglas, how you doing, buddy? Losing my train of thought. So I pull up, and this guy can't be more than 18. He's in his BDUs, and it says Army on there. I don't know if it was like Army Reserve. Might have been full-fledged Army. And he says, "Did you make an appointment?" I said, "No, man, no, I didn't know I had to. Is that a problem? No, I guess not. Let me see your state issued ID. So I pull it out and he looks at it and he's like, you look different. Like, well, I'm sorry. I don't know. And I do admittedly look way different. I look like a convict that just got out of prison on my ID. You might argue I look like that now, but even more so on the ID. And I didn't know what to say, so I said, you should see me tomorrow if you think I look weird now or something like that. And he's like, why? Are you going to cut your hair or something? I was like, well, it's hard to say. I'm a strange guy. And he says, don't be too strange. I'm a trained killer. And he was serious, I think. And I was just like, okay, I'm just here for a COVID test, man. I'm not here to go through boot camp and all this stuff. I'm just here for the test. Everything's cool. Nobody's mad. And so I get through that. And then I get to the second checkpoint. There's like 3 checkpoints, The second checkpoint, they ask you your name. And they give you this bag of stuff. And they tell you to go to the third checkpoint. And I get to the third checkpoint. You ever seen Hamburger Hill, anybody? And in the beginning, where there's that drill instructor, I call him a drill instructor. He's not. Yeah, convict. And he's teaching them how to brush your teeth. He's in the jungle in Vietnam. He's like, you got to do it a certain way for a certain amount of time. Anyway, that kind of reminded me of this. And so I've got this packet, and I pull up, and the guy says, take out the swab that's in a plastic bag, place it on your lap. Just like that. I'm not kidding. I was like, wow, okay. So I'm like fumbling through my stuff, and I don't want to mess up, and I feel like this guy's going to kick my ass if I do anything wrong or make me, get down and do 50 push-ups or something the whole time. And he's like, take the nose, take the swab, place it in your nose until it's uncomfortable, circle 5 times, place it in the other nostril, circle 5 times, place the swab back in the plastic container, place cap back on the container, place the container back in the plastic bag, hand it off, please. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm like, all right. All I wanted was a COVID test, man. I feel like I went through like boot camp. It was crazy. A hell of an experience. Let's catch up on some chit chat. Let's see. I'm in Michigan. John is? Who's the other guy? Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry, dude. I forget your name, but he's a Red Wings fan. Yeah, Yzerman. Look out. Yzerman's is deadly as he was when he was on the ice. This guy is throwing together a team that is they're going to be formidable here in a few years. COVID test sounds like he took a left into the Middle East, 3 checkpoints. Good God. Yeah, exactly, man. It felt just like that. He was never in the military, probably just wearing his grandmother's uniform and a rack of medals he got from Salvation Army. Yeah, well, I suppose that's a possibility as well. But, his hair did seem a little long for being enlisted. So that was my fun experience when I got back here. How about, everybody says 2020 was horrible, and I don't disagree with that. It is horrible. Anybody gotten anything good that has happened this year? Certainly somebody is probably feels guilty or embarrassed to say because, so many people hate 2020. But if it wasn't for 2020, this wouldn't have happened, that type of thing. One thing I can think of, I got a raise. So I'm checking my paycheck online because there's a number of other issues going on that I have to deal with in 2021. And I noticed a change, and I'm like, why the hell is this like this? And before I had a chance to get mad about it, I realized that what I was examining had changed because I got a raise. So I guess that's a good thing, right? Generally, over the past week, unbeknownst to me, I got a raise. So, yeah, that was awesome. That's about the only thing good I think I have to say for 2020, other than the leaky faucet. Is a good thing because that means if that's all I have to worry about, then. "24/7, just me and the wife, and we aren't divorced." That's good. Let's see. Any good war movies coming out that anybody's aware of? Anybody see Greyhound? I think it was the last significant 1917 and Greyhound, the Tom Hanks naval movie. Both pretty good. I think that was the last two significant war movies to come out. Anything else down the road that anybody knows of? What's next? What's something that needs to be a war movie that hasn't been covered yet? That's not that's not Battle of the Bulge or D-Day. Jesus, conflict. All right. Best things of 2020, your channel. Gee, well, shucks. Dave over at Centurion Review and Mo's Game Table. I will always forever have the image of Mo on his avatar, Mo in the hat, burned into my brain. That's Mo's Game Table, right? With the orange knitted hat thing. Burned into my brain. I'm a little less familiar with Dave over at Centurion Review. I do know what you're talking about. I think I've come across this stuff on a random occasion. Well, 2020 for me, I became a war gamer. Hey, cheers to you, brother. You don't even know what you're in for. Say goodbye to all your money, all your time, any girlfriends, your wife. It's all over. Met some great peeps. Yeah, that I will say overall, 99.9% of the folks involved in wargaming are super. You're going to get some sarcasm and some snarkiness, right? But overall, they're super nice and helpful. I'll always remember when I was doing the H&S Games thing and trying to publish my own stuff, the amount of help that people offered of their own accord freely just baffled me. It was awesome. And that's the kind of community that the wargame community has. Good-hearted folks for the most part. Wargaming was the only good thing about this year. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what I would do if I wasn't doing something to do with wargaming. Now that could be a bona fide game, that could be tweaking something, that could be writing the 51st version of a set of rules that I've variated from the original, what have you, painting something, basing something. It helps pass time. It helps get you out of your head. And it's, I've already said this before, but it's like a Zen thing, it's a meditative thing. And I think in that respect, it is a good thing. It's a healthy thing. Unless you're like one of these folks that just gets too amped up and aggro and tweaked, and it's just like when he finishes his game, he's never happy, and he's beating his wife because of it, and punching holes in the wall, and driving down the wrong side of the road and trying to cut people off. Maybe you might want to look into another hobby, but I think that's not the case for most of us. John's got us on the war movies here. He's checking out 2021 to see if there's anything we need to put on our radar. Yeah, the homebrew thing, man. It's funny you meant conflict. The homebrew thing, I've wrestled with that. I don't want to say there's an ethics involved in it, but when you're filming stuff, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but again, when you have a channel and people that watch, you can't help but be cognizant and aware of expectations. And in that respect, you can kind of start to feel, I don't want to say guilty, maybe something along those lines. So let's say you're into something like with this stuff with the Callistra terrain, the hexagon terrain, and the little Napoleonic miniatures that I've been doing. How many videos do I have of that now over the past 3 months, right? And I think to myself, and I've already said this, so bear with me. How many times do people want to see this? But then it's like, well, but it's something I'm enjoying, so who gives a crap, right? It's my channel. Nobody's paying to watch. But I wonder if other folks have that dilemma, and if it affects them to the extent that they're doing things that they don't want to do, because specifically for those that are content creators with what they're doing, are they doing things that they don't really want to do because it's what they think people want to see? Is there anybody out there that would admit to doing that? I know I've done it a couple of times, maybe 3 times, because I don't know. But then you lose a kind of authenticity, and people will suss that out too. It shows. It comes out when you're playing something and doing it and you're not into it. It shows compared to when you are into something. People aren't stupid. They pick up on things. So I mean, what's the point in the first place of doing what people expect, but you don't want to do it, versus just doing what you want to do and people see your enthusiasm for what it is. And a lot of times people they get a ride out of your enthusiasm, even if it's not necessarily a game they like. Oh. Yeah, The Liberator. I forgot about that. I think I watched it. I enjoyed it. I think if it was a little less Band of Brothers, and maybe if you're going to do World War II, maybe a theater that is less often portrayed, or a battle or campaign that is a little less portrayed, it at least for me, it might have upped it a little bit. Not that it was bad; it was good stuff. But some of these things were getting the stories a little. It's getting a little run down for me anyway. If you don't enjoy it, then it's worthless. I'm going to get a T-shirt that says that and hand them out freely to folks. Yeah, Raccoon Tycoon didn't grab me. I don't know what the hell Raccoon Tycoon is. Is that like Leaping Lemmings? What makes GMT say we're going to do a game called Leaping Lemmings? And while I'm on the subject, what the hell's going on with Mr. President? GMT P500, that every time Gene does an update, it says the same thing. Look, it's 6 to 9 months. 6 to 9 months. This thing's been 6 to 9 months from release for like 4 years. And it's one of the most heavily pre-ordered games. I don't get it. He's doing the game, right? Gene is. I think he wants this thing to be perfect, and that's unrealistic. So he's taking forever. Nothing's going to be perfect. Just get it until it's as good as you can get it, and let it go, man. You got me using the phrase "minis on maps" more all the time. Okay, well, don't be mad. I don't know what is taking over as far these days with me and the minis thing. I don't know. It's because I now have access to them, whereas before I didn't. So I didn't tend to use them. But definitely of late, and when I say of late, I mean like off and on especially the past 6 months, I've definitely had a penchant for all things minis. There's something about it's not just how something plays, but it's how it looks. It's how it makes you feel when you see it, right? Does that make sense? I'm going to sound nuts here. All right, here we go. When I walk by that table and I see everything set up, ready to go for a game, this Napoleonic stuff over there, it's like a painting in my head. It's like a piece of art. It's not just a game. It's like like a sculpture that you've done. You've created this. You've set it up. And oftentimes I let it just sit for a while before I dive into it. Because again, there's like this feeling I get when I just look at it. It's like, wow, this looks so cool. And then playing it, of course, as enjoyable as that is. But I mean, again, my point is, there's probably some great games in here, but I don't get that visual satisfaction that I do from certain things. Like, say, for instance, that. Is it just me? I mean, I don't know. More and more I've gotten to where, okay, again, and I've already said this, if it's just your generic, basic hex and counter game, I mean, I'm kind of over it a little bit. I don't mean to be harsh, but you got to offer up something a little bit more than just that. You know what I mean? There's too much of that as there is. All right. GMT is kind of wrecked this year for reasons known to all. Yeah, exactly. They're in partial lockdown again. Speaking of which, these poor freaking bars here in New Orleans have had to shut down like at least twice, like for lengthy periods of time. And I just read in the paper today that once again the numbers infection rate has been high enough for 2 weeks that they have to essentially shut down again, right? So they're saying no indoor serving at bars. But who wants to go to a bar and hang out outside? The whole point of going to a bar is to go in. And these folks that work there, that they're not going to make the tips they would make otherwise with people just coming in and then hanging out outside. What a mess, dude. I don't know what other option there is. I'm not criticizing what the city's doing, but I just feel bad for these bars, man, and the people that work in the industry. Yeah, there's a lot of games that for me, it's just a square or a hex with a number on it and a cardboard square, and it's like, man, I've been here before. I can't do it again. There's got to be something else going on, you know? And I don't think that's unfair to expect. Like with this is your basic hex and counter game, but there's enough new original in here that I kind of get that feeling that I get when I look at that, playing this, mechanics wise. I get that warm, fuzzy feeling. Can I get that warm, fuzzy feeling, right? What time is it? 5 o'clock. Cover band drummer here that dried up. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, brother, man. It'll come back. It'll come back, I promise. But you pick the right instrument to play because drummers are always in demand. Everybody can play the guitar, anybody can sing, but it's all about drummers. As I'm going to feed the cat here, so there you go. Eat until you puke, Roman style. Seems to be the way she does these days. Cover band drummer here. What you guys cover all things, or jazz stuff, or 80s stuff, or what's your shtick, as it were? And that's the other thing, you know, New Orleans is a place that it isn't what it was meant to be without the live music. And I remember prior to all this nonsense, any given night, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling down to decide what live band you want to see that night on any given night. Nothing, man. There's nothing. Went down the non-hex map route. So a non-hex map, nothing at all, or area movement. One of the things I enjoy most, one of my favorite things that I've come to enjoy is fiddling, tweaking with war games, and some of you out there are just figuring out the enjoyment inherent within that experience. But I'm fascinated with transposing things. So, like, say for instance, the whole time I'm doing this, I'm thinking I got to get this on there represented with minis, and I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm flawed, I guess. Coin games, yeah, definitely, for sure, man. This kind of I guess you could call it kind of a breakthrough within wargaming with the whole coin series. It's just what you could ask. It's just what someone like me would be asking for, right? You know, how much can you do of just, like I said, the basic, dry, same old hex and counter stuff? And I suppose it's the same guy. No, it's different folks that have done these, right? But Runke, is that his name? I wonder if he had the same. Yeah, Volko Runke. What if he had the same epiphany? He's like, dude, and he's sitting at his table one day and he's playing who knows what, generic Hex Encounter, this, that, or the other. And he's like, there's got to be something else. There's got to be another a level that we can get to with this stuff. And man, he did it, dude. He did it in spades. And hats off to GMT for supporting him and publishing his stuff. So. All right. So, anything else? What we at time wise here? We're at about an hour. We'll probably kill this here for too long. I need to place the order for food and head out. But final thoughts, anybody? Polish Wargame magazine for all the maps they include. Which one is that? That sounds familiar. Holodeck for games, yeah. Well, as soon as they come out with holograms for a hologram-driven game that is playable and works, I'm all in, man. PC games, they don't do it for me. No offense to people that do it, but I just feel too removed from what I'm doing. And the other thing that drives me nuts with these computer games and the console games, new game after new game, year after year comes out, but at the same time, at the end of the day, every time, what are you doing? You're carrying a gun or you're carrying a sword. It's the same shit over and over. Pardon my French. Nathan says, I tend to play non-hex games with friends. Games we can play in an evening, like Coin, etc. But prefer Hex Encounter solo. No, that totally makes sense. When it comes to your average gamer, non-war gamer, if you will, or your average gamer, it's got to be the stuff that's easy to get into, that can be done quickly, that isn't too involved. And then the others, like the more hardcore war game stuff, it tends to be done, unless you are lucky enough to have like a roommate that is into the same stuff you are. It tends to be done alone, right? It's a very personal thing in a lot of respects. Wargaming is, I've come to find, at least speaking for myself, very, very personal thing. I'm not sure what that says, but maybe you can extrapolate some Freudian whatnots from that. But it fits well with me because I've always been very personal anyway, like to myself. Never had a problem entertaining myself as a little kid growing up. You know, I never needed to rely on a handful of folks to keep me occupied or this, that, or the other. It was always just me and my whatever I had, my blocks, my Legos, standing up soldiers, getting my mom's encyclopedias out and laying them out and setting up forts and trenches and bunkers and just going at it, and just, afternoon after afternoon, over and over and over with all this stuff, and by myself, man, and just, no problem. Well, that's interesting. A variant to use with Labyrinth where you are a contractor company. Wow. Like Blackwater or something? That's cool. I'll tell you what, guys, you are always very I appreciate everybody that joins in on these. I hope you all had a good Christmas, and I hope you all will have a wonderful New Year. Whatever you're doing tomorrow night, do it responsibly. Try and be safe. If you know you're going to be drunk and passed out by 10 o'clock in the evening, maybe don't drive 50 miles to get somewhere and knowing you have to drive 50 miles back. Just use your head. Be nice to one another, as I always say, and we'll get through this. We got one more day of 2020 left, and then let's well, here's the deal. Here's what we'll do, all right? We may not be together like this, but as Wargamers, as my subscribers, as my friends, whatever, if you guys feel adventurous, find you a cheap glass that you don't care about, and when it turns midnight, do a shot, take that glass, and bust the hell out of it. Throw it into the fireplace, whatever. Just break it. Let that glass represent 2020. Destroy it. I don't care. Film it. Be innovative. Come up with different clever ways of how you drop it from the Empire State Building, or drop it from a plane, or shoot it with a gun. I don't care. Have fun with it, but let that glass represent 2020, and let's be done with it. And we're just moving forward. We're not even looking behind us. We're just rolling forward. I got to get out of here. I'll talk to you guys next time. Always a pleasure to hang with you guys, always. And be safe.